From Montalcino, Italy. And Delaby's personal exhibition, OROBOROS, which opened yesterday, September 7th, and will run until October 5th, 2013. And a quick tour of the show. Very first painting is that of Sant'Antimo, the abbey, about 10 kilometers from Montalcino. One of her signature pieces is Era Ora. It's about time, from 2010. And it's also the showcase piece on the dépliant, the brochure. This beautiful medieval fortress here. In this first room, the paintings are all blue, and either inspired by or dedicated to water. This is Reflections, Riflessioni from 2008. We have Mirage from 2010. Owned from 2009. This is the first movement of my string quartet, Quartetto d'Arte, string quartet upon which I composed 7 movements based on 7 paintings by Delaby. This is another important work called Luna Piena, Full Moon, 2008. And it's the work that one sees on the posters around town. And we proceed with Silence. Very interesting fact about this painting: when it was photographed for one of the brochures, which I'm going to show you now, this very strange image appeared in the photo. I'm holding it up now. I don't know if that's clear or not, but this sort of face appeared. It's just probably a being that wanted to appear in this picture. I find it very intriguing. It's very recognizable.
Questo è l'ultimo che ho fatto, silenzio, per lasciare spazio proprio al silenzio, che doveva dare lo spazio perché nasce
the painter Delaby
infatti
giving
nel
a
vuoto
private tour
ho
to
fatto
a
la
lady
foto
from
di questo
Tuscany
quadro,
here.
di cosa gli è uscito fuori, ma c'era il mio spiritello, sembra un viso, no? Qualcosa che è emerso nella foto.
And the tour continues here
Sembra quello disegnato.
to an Easter picture, L'Ombo a Pasqua, with the Easter envoy. And we enter, there's the poster I was telling you about earlier, which you also saw at the opening. We enter the second room. Here in this beautiful space, this fortress. Give you a quick panorama of it. All the paintings, which we'll have a quick look at now. This is Ecumen in English, an abstract work on unmounted canvas. Again, very blue, some continuity with the previous room. L'œuvre au noir, which is the French for the sort of shadow work, or a lot of black and blue in this one. where fish turn into swans and fish turn into swans and birds as they interact. And in a very different color palette, we have Arco, which is the 5th movement of my string quartet. And then we have this very intimate little painting of an unborn baby. It's interestingly called ascolto, means listening, implying that fetuses can hear. And we've got her tree-inspired pictures, which are inspired by tree bark. A lot of different faces in these images. And then a larger work called The Olive Tree. Again, lots of images and faces pop up as you go through the detail of these works. And moving right along to another sort of tree bark inspired, but this time we have a sienna red or a sienna brown color. This is Nozze Mistiche, which is the third movement of my string quartet. Some Tristan and Isolde going on there. And we proceed on with a very different color palette again, called Respiro or Breath. Painting done in 2010. And then we have Babele, or the Tower of Babylon. Very powerful purple based. And we proceed with Nostalgia, 2007, an older work. One of the more older works of this collection. Just to give you a quick view of where we are, we're in the fortress of Montalcino. There's a market going on there. You can see that. And the beautiful second room here. And we proceed through back the first room. And we go up the stairs. And this is the largest room. Just give you a quick panorama. Where there are actually two mini exhibitions within the larger OROBOROS exhibition. The first is called The Apocalypse and begins with 2012 painting called Le Vivant, or The Living. Then proceeds to the Soglia, or the Threshold. And is giving a tour to some visitors. And proceeding along, we have La Cour Céleste, the celestial court. And we have the four horsemen of the apocalypse. The white horse, and then we have the red horse. Great expression on the face of the cavalier. And we proceed on to the black horse. A lot of detail. And we find one of the gray men. This character, the gray man, is also in her Denied Man series. Sort of a recurring theme. Recurring character. And the last of the four horsemen of the apocalypse is very dramatic. Green horse. With the skeleton of it, death itself riding. At the bottom of the painting we find a bunch of traders in a trading room. Working away. There we see our gray man again. There he is. And the Apocalypse collection continues with The Return. This again is a 2012 painting. Very spiritual, like the Holy Ghost rising from the waters. There's this recurring, very dramatic, almost desperate situation in the lower parts of the painting, and in this case at least there's some sort of hope or redemption going on. And we proceed to a crossover piece. This is called The Balance, 2012 as well, or 2013, excuse me, where we have Christ on one side and the gray man on the other, who's crowning him. Despite Christ being able to walk on water, he seems to be more weighty or heavier, so that the onus is on nature and water versus gold and avidity and petroleum. She has a thing with petroleum. Perhaps we'll ask her about that. And the Denied Man continues with the Squarcio, which is a very dramatic painting where you've got earth and vegetation crashing through gray walls, cracks in gray walls. Squarcio means crack in Italian. And it's 2012, and it's also one of the showcase pieces. It's on the Denied Man's brochure. And the Denied Man continues with a very dramatic painting called In Specula Speculorum in Latin. Speculation, where you've got a very grayish world full of people in cars looking out, sometimes even in bars. to see what in the world this lady, crazy lady, is doing. Well, she seems to be enjoying a last ray of sunshine in the middle of this gray world in a very green field with a flower. But there's a crane with a ton of cement about to drop down on her. But she doesn't seem too worried, does she? And there's some more cityscape gray. It's a very interesting painting, in my opinion, and very dramatic. And this moves on to a trittico of paintings. This is called La caduta degli dei, or the falling of gods. We see a Venere di Milo, Venus of Milo, who's been decapitated here. We've got our gray man again, and a bunch of other gray men on their way to what looks like Wall Street jobs. And we find an artist who's desperate, probably the artist who did the sculpture, who's been decapitated. This was the interpretation I gave these three paintings as I composed my sax quintet based on these three works, which was performed by Lars Mlekush and the Milano Sax Quartet on their tour of Italy in December 2012. Here's the second painting, which is simply called New World Order. And you have the golden calf in the middle and the two religious towers surrounding that. And you've got a bunch of swallows, some birds, who fly in a very specific direction, almost in the form question mark. In fact, about this, the artist says, "This flying swallows ask man where he's going, and that the choice of his future is in his hands." We've got some slogans here: no thinking allowed, no meeting allowed, no loving allowed, no crying allowed. And the artist we saw in the first painting is now tied to a tree, a dead tree, a skeletal tree. And once again we find our friend the gray man coming out of the corner, making sure that life doesn't take the upper hold on what matters to him, and that is things like marketing, trading, finance, business, high tech. Got some more traders here. She's big on the traders. Someone who seems to have lost a lot of money that day. And there's the MWO. There's this man squeezing a horse, squeezing the life out of a horse, as if the horse were the last sort of ballad for life. And the third painting of this trittico is called New Women Order. The basis of this painting is to contrast sort of a man's world, very gray. Here we find our gray man, but this time he's been chained by nature to serve as a statue, almost as a reminder of what the world is and needs not to continue being, according to the artist. We've got financial charts and gray trees that are attached with either paper or money, cracks in the wall. And she refers to the HARP program, which, if those of you who don't know, go to Google and find out what that's all about. It's very interesting. And there's our artist again in this painting. He's almost dreaming or imagining of what the world could be in a more feminine, controlled context, I suppose. And we find 4 women holding hands, very beautiful, sensual, happy. And the flying swallows in the previous painting become flying bees here. That make their entrance. And at the end, we've got a very happy horse. Very, very beautiful painting. And that's the Tritico. And this proceeds. Last three paintings. This is simply called La Belle. And it's a forest full of detail, color, and images and surprised faces. And then we've got another tree that she calls Le Gardien, as if the tree is sort of guarding nature, guarding the world for us all, standing tall and strong and looking out for the dangers, I suppose, of what the modern world is doing to nature. Another recurring theme of Anne's. And the last painting is Sulphur, which is a very dramatic painting, which uses the sort of yellow color of sulphur to develop into flames. We've got these two praying hands in the middle and four hidden facades. There are two there and two more there. Let's see if we can listen in on some of the things they're saying. Just taking a group through.
Però lo Stato deve ridare, bisogna essere sicuri che non ricada in mano. Questi soldi vengono spesi
appunto, perché se è bello, dov'è?
perché sono molte luci.
Really is a beautiful space.
Dovrebbero togliere tanti alla mafia a questo punto.
Okay, and there you have it. That's OROBOROS in Montalcino, Italy, running until October 5th, 2013. It's a month-long show. So if you're in Tuscany and you want to drink some great wine, visit the fortress. It's smack in the center of the city. And one of the best wine tasting shops I've seen is downstairs. So thanks for watching.